Okay guys, today we're going to replace a scanner on an Officejet Pro X476. I'm going to start this repair simply by removing the power and other peripheral cables. We're going to pull off this paper outfeed tray and just set that aside. I'm going to get the unit into a slightly better position. Unplug that USB and phone cable for the fax. As you see, it's on a very nice stand. First thing we're going to do is remove these. These are all T10 Torx screws. Take this screw out of the back corner here. It's the only screw on the back cover of this unit. And basically, you're just going to pull. There's mostly plastic clips here. It's a little bit of fidgeting. As you'll see, I'll struggle with it a bit because I don't want to break anything, so I try to be gentle in my pulling. Crouch down so you can see it here. There you go. Pops off. There's some clips kind of everywhere. It's the modern thing now. Set that aside. Okay, we're going to start with the cables coming off of... Wait, actually no. I took off the bottom cover from the scanner. There's a little hole where you'll stick a screwdriver or reposition. There's a little hole here to stick the screwdriver. And basically all you're doing is prying the front center down, because it has two plastic tabs that are on the outer edges. Again, I'm trying to be gentle. I usually use plastic pry tools for this, but the screwdriver was handier, and I was trying to be quick, because that was just how today was going. So I pull it down, I set that aside. Okay, now we're going to work with the cables. There's a large cable with a little clip. We undo that. We pull both black cables. You'll see later I'll pull, there's another white one back there I missed. But we're going to take this retainer off. Just taking a look at the manual real quick. I'm going to pull out this retainer here. It's just a screw, another T10 little wood screwish thing. We're going to unroute these cables. Basically, we're going to slide them out. The white one we're not going to slide out because it doesn't need to come free. But I just don't like to break that connector because it is kind of fragile. So I'm unrouting it, I'm unclipping it from the top. Kind of glancing at the manual here. The next thing we're going to do is take the screws out of the side that actually hold the scanner to the body of the printer. This is a pretty cool setup. It's really just sitting there and kind of in a set of keys. It just kind of latches in. Only thing that holds there is two screws in the end here. You'll see me get them. Here's one here. There's one. Gonna get the other one out now. And there's two. Now the whole scanner is going to come toward the edge of the printer, away from where the paper would outfeed. So you're going to see me just kind of push it over and it's going to go pop. There it is. It's free now. You can lift it up. This scanner is broken. The head is, when you turn the scanner on, it slides back and forth and just hits both sides. So we know the scanner's broken. This printer says scanner failure. And here's where I'm grabbing that white cable out, just unplugging it from the DC controller. And we're going to route that just up and out. I got fat fingers, so some of this cable routing is a pain, so I'm just going to lift it, put my finger through the loop, and just pull the cable out. I'm not worried about these cables, as this whole scanner assembly is getting replaced. So as a free, I'm just going to set it back down for a minute. I got to get the ADF lid off. So we're just going to open the lid. There's a little cover in the corner here where the cable comes in. I try to do it with my finger, but that just doesn't work. So I'm going to end up grabbing a plastic pry tool. So you see me, I'm getting my plastic pry tool out of my tool bag. It's just a retainer. You're just going to push it back. It pops up a little bit, and we're just going to pry it out. Again, I got fat fingers. You might be able to do this with your hand. I can't. So there it is. Prying on a little bit. One way, another. Just kind of a bad angle. You could pull the lid off, but I don't like to stress cables, so I try to take a little bit of care in this. And then free. Okay, now inside, you really can't see it. It's just a plug. You push the tab in, pull the cable up. Once you get it free and moved a little bit, you can just stick your fingers in there and pull the cable. You could probably get your thumb in there and just yank it if you wanted to. Once that's free, pull straight up. The scanner, the ADF assembly just pops right off. Set that aside safely. Here's where I get kind of out of place. I grabbed the new assembly before I took the old one off, so we're going to unpack it. This is a brand new unit. As you see, I'm working in a car dealership today. Pull it out, and I go, oh crap, I forgot to take that off. Just looking at the bottom, make sure I don't got to transfer anything. Everything looks good. I'm going to sit this right there until it don't move. Stay. Okay, now I'm going to go back, take off the old one. Pops right off as you see. Drop it in the box, just like that. And now we're going to start doing reverse of removal. Everything looks okay. I'm looking for any kind of ding, scratch, dirt on the inside, anything that's going to be a problem. Going to pull off this tape. Basically, we're going to unfold these cables off the bottom here. Got to be careful because, you know, they are flat ribbon cables and they are kind of fragile. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to route these down. One goes through, there's a plastic channel it'll slide into, the black one. The white ones just kind of go through the big void and will find their way down. There's really no motors in this particular section of the printer, so there's nothing really to worry about. All the gearing is there to the right. And on this printer, there's not a lot to fix. This is one of the few things we can replace in the field. So put the scanner on. I'm going to push it forward. I had to fidget with this for a minute because it didn't want to latch all the way. So you'll see me jump a little bit because I'm playing with it and pushing it to the left and getting it to latch where the screws will catch. I was a little off the first time, so I just cut that part out. I feel like I'm going to put this screw in, turning it, and then I'm going to do the next one. I do like those screwdrivers. I bought them because they had such a small torque size available with a large handle. Great for laptops. And basically, I'm just turning them until they're tight. I'm sure there's a torque spec in the book somewhere. Snug. If I'm using my drill, I'll set the clutch, but we're doing this all by hand. So now we start rerouting the cables. We're going to start with the white one because it's in the back. And you know, you're just going to kind of look at the way it went before. You're going to work your way around. This needs to be folded and kind of tucked in. If you have to, take a picture of it before you take it apart so you kind of have an idea of where you're going. The cable's just going to slide through this. These are little iron ferrite cores, I guess, to help with electrical noise. You know, we're going to slide it back. And it's fidgety work. You know, don't rush it. This is fine cables. There's these plastic ears clip into there's like a plastic retainer body there. It all kind of just snaps together. When you're looking at one, it's a really easy thing to see. And it's just, you know, take some time, pop it in. Repair quality is all in the details. Stuff like that, you come in, it's like, whoever did this before did a nice job. Okay, so we're going to route these through. Again, they fold. It's fidgety work. Take your time. You don't want to mess this up by ruining a cable because these aren't replaceable. You'd have to start all over again. I got them in. They're nicely folded. Nothing's stressed. Nothing's strained. Oh, maybe I didn't have it right that first time. There's a fold and they have to go in because they're going to bend and go into the socket and they only go in one way. Well, they'll go in either way, but they'll only work one way. So you want to make sure that the metal contacts are to the only side that has metal contacts inside of the port on the DC controller in there. I'm calling it a DC controller, I'm not 100% sure. It might be like a main board controller, but I don't have the parts list in front of me, so I can't tell you right now. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put this retainer clip back in place, I think, after I latch the easy ones, in case I have to move anything. That large connector I don't usually put in until after that's screwed together because it's a connector that's a zero insertion force. So you put it in and there's a little lever you push down. And if you were to yank on that cable with it locked, you'll break the lock. And then the cable won't seat and it won't work. And you'll need a new controller board there. I guess they would call that a main board. So we jump again and you can see me plugging them in. Again, these have like a plastic back and you just grab it by that back and just push them in. You'll feel them stop and bottom out. So I'm going to put the screw in this now. Getting it kind of lined up. I'll fidget with it for a second just to make sure it's all laid in there. We'll grab the screw, we'll grab the driver. As you see, I got the long arms. Get on there. I magnetize all my tools for this kind of work. That way I don't drop anything. I also have pickup magnets and part grabbers in my collection of tools. One day I'll have to take you guys through a video of all the tools in the bag. Okay, now I'm putting in the zero insertion force. It slides right in, no force. My finger, I'm just pushing the latch down. I give it a little tug just to make sure it's seated. And I call that good. Now we're going to put the top back on. Oh, actually, nope. We're going to put the bottom on first. You see how much I remembered. Did this 2 days ago. So we're going to put that in. I'm going to snap the one side with my hand, clip it there, and then we jump. You see me reach around the other side. Push. We're just pushing it straight up. It's got a taper. It'll go in. It snaps, and it doesn't want to come back out. Now I'm putting the back on. The back is tricky because there's hooks on the right, and there's some hooks on the bottom. So you kind of got to get it in on an angle. And I usually just give it a couple quick. They're light taps, just enough to seat because they're plastic. They're like plastic snaps. They seated nicely. As you see, I didn't get it quite right, so I'm going to back it out, and then I'm going to grab my plastic pry tool to help persuade the top free. At least I think I'm going to show you where I pull it apart. Yeah, plastic pry tool. I put it in the top. I give it a little pry. Boop, out it comes. We're going to put these back in again, and I'm just kind of trying to get the two. There's clips, as you see on the right here. They have to go into the side, and there's some clips on the bottom that need to go in. And I got it. There you go. It's kind of in there on a corner, and then I tap them in. Not hitting it really hard, just enough to give it a quick boop, and it goes in. You don't want to like beat on it. Okay, now I'm putting the screw in the corner. I did miss a little bit of the backing. You might see clips of it as we go along. Now I'm putting the scanner in. Scanner, reverse removal. I plug it in. It's not fully seated yet. I'm going to plug in the plug and put on the cap. There's the cap. And that person, I'm going to just push it down. It's going to snap into place. I check the hinge movement, make sure there's no binding, it's free. Because if you get the cable twisted, you'll have some issues in there. Me just tapping in that back. Paper out feed. As I hit the wall, we're going to just push it down. It snaps into place, probably like it did when it came out of the box. We're going to plug in the USB and the phone cable. Interestingly enough, I've never taken one of these out of a box new. Getting down there, there's USB for a scanner. I kind of get it in position, powered it up. I'm watching it run. Before, this head would just go back and forth and back and forth. It would hit the sides. The motor would keep turning. It'd make a grinding noise. It was awful. You see it now. It's moving very controlled. What it's going to do is it's going to move to the underneath, where between the ADF path and the flatbed path. The light will come on and it'll actually read. There's marks under there it's looking for to help center and home itself. That's why you'll see little light flashes. So I'm closing it up. Now, the important part. We need to program. So we're going to go home, back, home, home. This gets you in the engineering menu where you have to program the scanner arm to this printer. So we're going to go to the, I believe, service menu. And you have to scroll around. You'll see scanner barcode in the list. You're going to go to that. It's going to give you a value. You're going to change it to the barcode that is printed on the scanner. It's on the actual barcode arm. If you see, this is the scanner arm, and that barcode, that number is what you're going to enter. So you're just going to go through up and down arrows and back and forth arrows. You're just going to key your way across. When you get it all done, you're going to press OK, and then nothing's going to happen. And you're going to press the red X, and that'll back you out of the menu. So we're just watching, just keying stuff in. I check it a couple times. The red X. We're going to go back. We're going to back all the way out to the main menu. Programming is done. So now we're going to do some test scans and make sure everything works. As I give you this great view, we're going to settings, and we're going to print. I think I print an event log. Just some page I could show you guys as we do. So we're going to print. Little flaps going on. It's also going to make sure the printer still prints. I still got to get test pages out. I need config pages and page counts and maintenance live and all that stuff for the paperwork for the customer. We're just going to lay it in. I'm going to lay it on the flatbed so the head actually has to move. And I'm just going to go back to the home. Going to go to copy. Just make a quick. I made a color copy. Scans are run. There's my copy. I'm going to pop out my original. Going to look at my original. Everything looks good. Going to clean the scanner glass. Is just value added. Should always do some kind of cleaning work when you're done. You've fingered it all up. You've touched it. That just happened to be a microfiber rag, and that's just some ammonia-free glass cleaner. I'm going to take the rag and just dust this printer down. It was a little dirty, and I've left fingerprints and clean spots. So I'm just going to dust it lightly. It's not really that bad. If it was really scummy, I have all-purpose cleaner. You can clean any product with just some all-purpose cleaner. So I'm just going to dust it down, and that's going to be pretty much the end of this repair. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you on the next one.